You meet many people in your life, but not everyone can truly touch your heart. When you find that someone's appearance begins to dictate your joy, your expectations, your disappointments, your entire day's mood, at that moment, you suddenly realize, I might have gone too far. Taoism says, the most difficult things in the world must be done from the easiest. The greatest things in the world must be done from the smallest. All the major emotions that make us lose control actually begin with a small thought. You think it's just a glance at the other person, an extra message, an extra expectation of a response. But unknowingly, you open your heart too wide, surrendering your core. Emotions are never driven by others. Others have only gently pulled the string. But in reality, it's you who's been taught all along. Taoism speaks of Wu-Wei non-action, not inaction, but rather not being bound by attachments. When someone's appearance can easily make you jump from joy to anxiety, from expectation to fear of loss, it means you don't like that person. You surrender control of your emotions. You think you're getting closer to someone, but in reality, you're drifting away from yourself. Because we crave to be seen. Because we desire to be understood. Because we believe, if only he would respond to me just a little more, my world would be a little brighter. But Taoism tells us true power comes from inner wholeness, not from external responses. The more you place your sense of security in others, the more easy your lead is stray. The more you extract emotional value from someone, the more easy you lose your self-worth. Those days when you become increasingly emotionally influenced by someone are actually reminders that you made him your light, but forgotten that you too can shine. What you lost isn't calmness, not judgment, not a sense of proportion. What you lost is the most important thing, your center. Taoism speaks of embracing simplicity and guarding oneness. What you're guarding is the ability to keep your mind from wandering. When you find yourself anxious because of someone's silence, sleepless because of a single word, and endlessly speculating about a particular action, actually, you're not loving someone. You're slowly losing yourself. You become sensitive, suspicious, and insecure. You start trying to please, cater to, and test. To keep someone, you repeatedly abandon yourself. And the more humble you are, the less the other person cares. This isn't the other person's problem, it's that you misplaced your heart. Taoism doesn't tell you to abandon emotions, but rather how to maintain clarity within them. The Tao Te Ching says, he who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. He who overcomes others has strength. He who overcomes himself is mighty. See others clearly is wisdom. See yourself clearly is enlightenment. Influencing others is power. Regaining control of yourself is true strength. When someone starts controlling your emotions, it's actually a reminder. You should shift your focus from will they care about me to how can I stop being led by others. You can stop others from disappointing you, but you can stop yourself from constantly expecting. You can control what others do, but you can decide where your heart should rest. The word Taoism most abhors is attachment, because all suffering stems from attachment. You're attached to the outcome of the relationship. You're attached to the other person's attitude. You're attached to your imagined should. But once a person has attachments, it's like a boat that can stay ashore, drifting with the wind, rising and falling with the waves. Taoism says, The highest good is like water. Water is strong because it flows with the current, adapts to circumstances, and is not stubborn. The more you try to control someone, the more you control your emotions. The more you try to grasp something, the less you can hold on to it. Relationships that are too forceful won't last, and a tense heart won't be happy. You can force someone to love you the way you want them to. You can force someone to respond to you the way you expect. But you can do one thing: bring your heart back. Take your attention back from the other person and back to your own love. Take your energy back from waiting for the other person and back to cultivating yourself. Take your emotions away from anxiety and return to peace. Taoism emphasizes reversal is the movement of the Tao. The more you grasp outward, the easier it is to lose control. The more you return to yourself, the more stable the situation becomes. When you put yourself back at the center, you will no longer fear losing anyone. Someone asks, does that mean I have to become indifferent, heartless, indifferent? Taoism never advocates indifference, but rather freedom. It's not about being heartless, but about not being bound by emotions. You can still love someone, like someone, care about someone, but you are willing to give them freedom, and you are also willing to give yourself freedom. You won't collapse because the other person leaves, nor will you be thrown into chaos by their hesitation. Liking someone is fine, even having feelings is fine, but you're no longer being LED bad nose. Because you know, the prerequisite for any relationship is having a complete self. When you stop treating him as your only light, he will see your own light. When you stop trying to please, cater to, and depend on him, he will realize your independence and boundaries. When you're no longer LED by your emotions, you grasp the most precious part in relationships: clarity. Taoism speaks of non-action, yet nothing is left undone. You let out entanglement, attachment, and coercion allows the relationship to develop naturally, following its own course without losing your true self. When you start controlling my emotions, I know I've gone too far, but I also know this is life's reminder. In any relationship, the most important thing isn't getting closer to someone, but not losing yourself. Taoist wisdom tells us, all things change, only your own heart can be guarded. External influences are uncontrollable, only emotions require self-control. From today onward, you can still like someone, but don't depend on anyone. You can still cherish someone, but don't lose yourself in them. You can still expect a response, but don't lack for a response. Bring your heart back. When you stabilize yourself, the world will naturally become wider, easier, and gentler.